Alright, I'm going to review Lanterns, Season 1, Episode 2. I will say it is better than Episode 1. Do I think it was good? Nope. Nope. But last week I rated Episode 1 a 5.5. This week I'm rating it a 6.5. It's a whole point higher. Who knows, by Episode 4 or 5, I might actually like this show. But for right now, man, I'm just not a fan. And I'm not here to change anybody's mind or to rally people to my cause and try to have people hate on Lanterns as a show. That's not why I'm doing this. I'm making this video just to tell you my point of view on the Lantern show so far and why I think it's not great as a Green Lantern superhero show. That's it. That's all. So that's my spoiler-free review, guys. It's a 6.5. Was it good? No. But it was better than Episode 1. So I'll say this. If you liked Episode 1, you probably loved Episode 2. Me, it's just slightly better, and we'll get into why. So let's jump right into the spoiler section. So spoilers ahead. Just giving a heads up. Fair warning. Spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. Let's talk about it. All right. Let me talk about some of the pros for this episode. Some of the things I thought it actually did right. The action scene, that's correct, scene. The action scene in this one was better than any action that you got in episode 1. And it involved Jon Stewart getting attacked and wrangled into a van and then getting chased out of the van and a fight ensuing on the highway and the battle like happening in the van, on the street, a chase scene. That was good. That was excellent. I thought they did really well with that. But then what do you have to compare it to? There's no other action scene, brother. That was your one action scene. That was the quota for this week. That was your one action scene. You got it. It's done. This is a cop drama. That's what this show is. It's a cop drama. It's not a superhero show. It's not an action show, really. It's just a cop drama. And the backdrop happens to be in a superhero universe that's quite light on the superhero side. But we'll get to that. We'll get to my absolute hatred for this show so far. But yeah, I like that action scene. The one that we got. I liked it. I thought it was good. Kudos to the team who did that. Great job. It was nice. I enjoyed myself when I was watching it. I thought, this is good. I found it interesting and engaging, and it kept my attention, and it was fun. Let's see. What else? Let's talk about some of the superhero stuff that you saw. So, in the last 5 minutes of the show, excellent. Excellent. You got that. It probably wasn't even a full 5 minutes, if I'm being totally honest with you. It was when Hal put the suit on, which I was completely wrong, and I'll be upfront and honest and say it. I thought you weren't going to see him put the suit on until episode 7 or 8, and they were going to be like, oh, the reluctant hero finally, dons his memorable attire, the uniform. Nope, he put it on right here at the end of episode 2. Kudos to the team for doing that and having an actual superhero wear a superhero outfit. Do I like the costume? No, I still don't like the costume, but that's neither here nor there. A costume can change over the course of seasons. I'm fine with that. I don't know if this storyline's going to change. I don't know if these plot points or these showrunners' ideas are going to change over the course of these next couple seasons if this gets renewed, which I am almost positive this is going to get renewed, which from what I've seen so far, I don't get it. But we'll get into that. So you see him putting on the suit, you see him flying to this prison area that's holding Sinestro. All of that, fantastic. So well done. Excellent. Again, props. That was perfect. I loved it. But you get it for a fraction of the episode, guys. That's my problem. That is my problem. You see cool moments and you're like, yes. As a superhero fan, watching what is supposed to be a superhero show, this is what I want. This is how it should be all the time. The backdrop should be that it's a buddy cop thing. That should be what's happening in the background, because this should be, just the full focus on superhero stuff, and it isn't. So when you're seeing these things, you're like, this is so cool. And it gives you that feeling of like, oh, this is what it could have been. But it isn't. So you get that at the end of episode 2. Who knows? Maybe they'll throw more out in season or episode 3. Like I said, if every episode continues to go up in ranking, by like episode 5, I might actually love this show. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, that was good. Then you got parts where Hal Jordan was flying. You got a couple of those scenes. They were good. I liked that. I enjoyed that. I thought that was fun. You know, anytime you showcase a superhero power to me, I'm automatically going to be invested because that's what I'm buying in for. That's what I'm expecting to see. So I'm hoping to get that. So when it's so sparse, that's what confuses me because that's supposed to be your main draw. It's a superhero show. It's the Green Lanterns. Nothing about that makes me think grounded or realistic or it's supposed to be fantastical. That's what I'm saying. It's supposed to have that superhero vibe. But Lanterns doesn't like superheroes. In fact, Lanterns hates superheroes, and we'll get more into that later. But let me talk about the plant at Hal Jordan's house that you saw. Oh my God, what's it? Ed or Eddie or whatever he called it. That's his pet, and it was funny. There was good humor in this episode. I'll say that. The dialogue back and forth between Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan at times was actually funny, and I was like, this is great. This is good banter between these two guys. So Jon Stewart's thinking that he's going to go to his house because he's got to pick up the power battery, and he's going to go ahead and feed a dog or a cat or something like that because Hal was like, hey, make sure you feed Ed while you're there. I'm just going to call it Ed. I forgot its name. It's not that memorable. It doesn't matter. But it turned out to be like an alien plant. So I thought that was so cool. It's like this sentient plant that's just like almost feral. It tries to bite at John when he's like feeding him. So I thought that was cool. That was neat. That's a cool sci-fi element to add. Also in the same genre as superhero, I would say. So that's perfect. Why can't we do more of this? Why can't we do more of this? Dude, they are so heavily invested into the cop drama side of this show. It's clearly what it is. They're leaning heavy on it. That's what they want it to be. That's what it is. It's not action, it's not superhero. It's a cop drama. You get a little bit of fantasy and a little bit of superhero stuff mixed in and some sci-fi, but that's it. It's cop drama. So constructs. The power of the ring. Jon Stewart puts on the ring in the very beginning of the show, and it was phenomenal. He creates a bird, and it is an intricate construct. It's what we talked about last week, wanting like these constructs to be unique to the wearer, where Jon makes these intricate constructs, super detailed, super lifelike. It's phenomenal. That's what he does. That's his gig as a lantern. So I thought, excellent. They really nailed it. And the reason he created it is because Hal is trying to teach him how to fly in the beginning of this episode. And he's like, well, I just think about flight and that makes me fly. Why don't you think about flight? So he imagines a bird and literally creates a bird. He creates a beautiful green bird, this construct. It flies, it maneuvers. And the cool thing about it is when Jon Stewart takes his ring off and gives it back to Hal, even after the ring's battery completely dies, that bird construct lasts for the entirety of the show and only disappears when Jon wants it to. That was fantastic. Great job. Beautiful. And I would have loved to have seen more of that. So the other constructs that were created were, there was the one that was, okay, hang on, hold on. There was, that's right. That was the only fucking construct that was made in the entire show, was the bird. Phenomenal job on the bird, but that was it. That was what the power of the Green Lantern's ring did for the entirety of this superhero show based on the Green Lanterns. Are you kidding me? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? The budget went to the bird, for sure. It had to have, because they couldn't afford to make any more constructs for the entirety of this episode. That was it. You got a bird, brother. That's all you got. They did an excellent job on it, and it lasted throughout the entirety of the episode. But you know what? They're saying fuck you to superhero fans and anybody who wants to see superhero stuff from a superhero show. I don't think you can make it make sense at this point. If you like the show, you're just interested in the story that they're telling from the cop drama side of things. You're definitely not interested in the Green Lantern side, because it's uber light on that. And I don't know why. But I'm convinced. DC Studios, whoever decided to greenlight this project and just, make the Green Lanterns, and the focus is not superhero. You wanted to make Gotham Central, basically. You could have made another TV show about Gotham. I know that's already been done. Redo it if that's what you wanted to do. But this has nothing to do with the Green Lanterns, and it's driving me bonkers. Yes, I know that there is an alien storyline. I know that there is that premise. What alien did you see? Like in an actual alien form, not somebody who you might think is an alien, who's disguised as a manhunter, who's like undercover. What alien did you see? You saw those dead bodies, and they're in the form of humans. They're not even in their extraterrestrial form. There's goo on the seats. There's alien goo. That's how you know they're aliens. And they set off the alien detector. Brother, this is about the lamest setup, and I can't believe that they're passing this off as with any excuse to be called the Green Lanterns. They shouldn't have taken you know what? They should have taken green out of the title. I was against that at first. Fantastic job. Don't put green in the title. Call it Lanterns. In fact, call it something else. Call it Rushville, Nebraska. The aliens at Rushville. Anything. Don't call it the Green Lanterns, because it's it's hardly about that. You know what else I thought was cool, actually? Was the power battery. I like the design of that. That looked pretty cool. I'll be honest there. I thought that was pretty neat. But yeah, this is this is so dumb to me. This is so dumb. I don't understand how people are justifying this as a good superhero show. If you like it as a cop drama, excellent. I can totally understand that. They actually did better this week on the cop drama side of things than they did in week 1. So I will give credit there. I will give props. That's why it's a 6.5 this week, because the actual storyline from the cop drama was a little bit better. And I gotta say, that was nice. Also, there was still a couple of F-bombs being dropped, and that was totally fine, but it seemed more tame than episode 1. And I didn't mind it at all, or maybe they said it a bunch and I just grew numb to it. I don't know, but I didn't have a problem with that type of dialogue. Let me tell you the dialogue I did have a problem with. That made no sense to add. It seemed like some weird, political activist agenda being added into a superhero show, and I have no idea why. It was a jab at white guys. What was the purpose of this? When Jon Stewart and that older lady are sitting in the diner talking, and they're like, "Oh, my white man," and "Oh, how is your white man?" What is that about? Would you have liked it if Hal Jordan sat in the hospital room with his, sheriff lady talking about, his black partner, or that Indian grandma? I mean, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? This is insane to me. Why throw that in as dialogue? What purpose does that serve? Newsflash, a large chunk of your superhero fans are white men. What good was that? I thought that was a slap in the face to anybody who was watching it and was like, "Why did you add race into this? What was the purpose of that?" That's so asinine to me. I don't get this kind of stuff. Who's writing this? Who has such a big chip on their shoulder that they have to throw their own political views into comic book media? I'm lost. I'm so lost when it comes to stuff like that. Why mention anything like that? It just doesn't matter. White, black, red, brown, fucking green for all I care. Except they got a thing against green people if they're Green Lanterns. I'll tell you that right now. But it shouldn't matter. Like, why are you making that little dialogue there a racial dialogue? That just seems so disrespectful. What was the purpose of it? And people will defend it. I guarantee you, people will defend that scene to the moon and back, and they'll say, "Oh, well, that's just, that was like a down to earth, real true conversation, and it fit." It didn't fit. There was no reason or purpose to add that in there. That blew my mind. When I heard that, I was like, why do we have this? Why was it a jab at white guys? What was the point of that? Like, that made no sense. Like, I don't know. Maybe it was to trigger some sort of an emotional response. It got one from me, but not because I'm a white guy. It was because it was stupid for a comic book show. Why are we doing this? It doesn't make sense to me. A lot of these things that they're choosing to do for this show doesn't make sense to me. I also wouldn't want that scene to occur if there was Hal Jordan and the sheriff lady talking about stuff like that. I would think that's just as asinine. Don't bring it up, brother. You're talking about an alien invasion. You're worried about skin color and white men? This is fucking dumb. This has got to be like the most egregious attempt at like ruining an intellectual property that is so amazing. What a disgraceful like adaptation of what the Green Lanterns is. I don't. What are you doing, James Gunn? I know you're not directing this, but aren't you like the head of DC Studios creative to like put these people in these particular roles? Why would you do this, brother? Like, I mean, I don't get this. We're here to subvert expectations. They want a superhero show, but what they're really gonna like is the buddy cop drama that we'll give them instead. Nah, brother. I mean, you've definitely got some people on your side with that, but as a superhero fan, nah, you didn't get me. I'm thinking you've ruined it. So far you have ruined it, and I don't understand what this show truly is supposed to be at this point. I can't believe you'd even call it the Green Lanterns. You could have made this a genre all of its own, a story all of its own. You didn't have to even include this as a superhero show. It could have been called anything else, and I might have rated it higher without having the expectations of there being anything superhero related in it. Like I said, I gave you my pros for this episode, and I told you the things I liked about it. But the things I didn't like are just so glaringly bad. They're just upfront, in your face, and some of it seems like blatant disrespect to the source material, to the canon of the Green Lanterns, apparently to white guys, because fuck them, I guess. I mean, I don't understand that. Man, brutal, brutal, brutal. And yeah, I just don't understand it. I really don't. But like I said, people will defend it. People will enjoy the show. People will enjoy this episode. They'll say it's phenomenal. And if you did like episode 1, like I said, you're going to love episode 2. It was more of the same, but better. So, yeah, man, I can't believe this. I truly can't. Maybe by episode 5, it'll be a completely different show and I'll enjoy it. But then we'll only have like 4 episodes to go anyway, so it won't really matter. But who knows? Maybe season 2 will be a different set of showrunners. I doubt it. I think they're going to just hammer this thing all the way home. Literally, they're just going to hammer the Green Lanterns into the ground with this team, and they're going to make it their own thing. They're really excited to tell their own story and just use the name recognition of the Green Lanterns and the hard work that the people before them did to give them this kind of publicity and popularity. So that's what it is. I mean, people who just aren't as talented are going to ride the coattails of all the hard work that the people before them did, and here they are now kind of sucking at the teat of the comic IP that is the Green Lanterns, and it's a damn shame. Truly, it is. It's just a disgrace. It's like what they did with Supergirl, the Woman of Tomorrow movie, and yeah, it's a shame. Which really blows my mind, because Tom King is one of the people on this show, and for him to give us the masterpiece that is the comic book Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, man, I guess that was the one-hit wonder, brother. Yeah, it's a shame. But I also hear he did a good Miracle Man or Mr. Miracle or or whatever the case was. I don't remember the title, but it comes out in December for the DC Compact Comics, and I'm excited to pick that up and check it out. But yeah, it's just me, a superhero fan, so we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, I'm just overall super disappointed in this episode. It was better than episode 1, but yeah, not a good episode by any stretch of the imagination. And feel free to flame me in the comments. I'm waiting to be absolutely destroyed by the fans of this series so far. Which, hey, honestly, if you're loving it, that's awesome, and I truly mean that. I'm glad you're enjoying it. But I wanted a superhero show, and I don't think you can argue that it's definitely not that. It's real light on the superhero part. Who knows? Maybe we'll get some really cool superhero action for the rest of the episodes, but these last 2 episodes are any indication of the pacing that we're going to get for superhero content, it's not going to be much. Like I said, we'll probably get a really cool episode 8 or something that, half the episode will be superhero related, but yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame, and I'm just going to keep rambling on if I don't just cut this here. So, those were my thoughts on episode 2 for Lanterns. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments. And I'll be interested to see what people say about this video and this reaction, because I'm sure it's not a popular one. But I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.